this Premier League Matchday 14 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. And we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Everybody to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, struggling here, Baz, 27th?
29th.
Wednesday the 29th of November, and we are here to pick over the bones of the Champions League fixtures that finished about 10 minutes ago and take you through a full programme of Premier League action, Saturday and Sunday, 5 games Saturday, 5 games Sunday. Joining me, eventually, it's been quite a long time since you were late, Barry. Once we introduced the dollar fine system, you pulled your socks up, but you're 7 minutes late tonight. So firstly, get your purse out. And secondly, what the hell have you been doing? Something about the chicken.
I'm cooking a chicken, Malcolm, yeah. I've got the air fryer on the go, following on from last week's air fryer chat. Yeah. I've got a whole chicken in there, and I thought it would be done by 10 o'clock. It's tomorrow's lunch, isn't it?
Is it?
Do you not have chicken for your lunch?
Not a whole one on a Friday.
Oh, well, you cook a whole one. It does you for a couple of days, doesn't it? It's a Thursday tomorrow anyway. The kids like chicken for their lunch as well.
That's even worse, really.
They'll take it to school. So I have to cook chicken. Chloe likes chicken and bacon mayo for our lunch. So I'll have to cook the chicken, and then I'll have to cook a couple of rashers of bacon, and then chop it all up, mix it all up, and make a sandwich ready for the morning.
Oh, no. So we're on school dinners.
Anyway, the chicken, I've cooked the temperature. It's just not quite hit the 75 degrees Celsius that it needs to be. And as you know, you can't stop a chicken mid-cook, Malcolm. So I've just had to let it go. I was hoping it would be done, but it's still going. So you're probably going to hear some beeping at some point. And then I'll go and stop it.
Well, a fascinating insight into Penaluna Towers there for everybody. So what we've got tonight is we'll have a look around. We did all right with our Champions League picks, Barry. I think we finished 6 out of 8, was it? Maybe 6 out of 9. Anyway, we did not bad. We'll go through them ever so briefly. And then the Premier League, breathless over the next couple of weeks. We've got a full programme this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then we've got a full programme Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. 10 games Saturday and Sunday, and then 10 games covering Tuesday to Thursday. So absolute mayhem. No pause for breath at all. But we'll have a little look. In fact, there's a couple of things we needed to get to first. I think it was Brian wanted to know the culmination of the bean, Barry, the microwavable bean, this bean that saw more action, the Vietnam veteran of beans, the bean that shot down more kidney beans, more tours of duty, flew more sorties in my microwave than any bean has ever done before or since. What happened to the bean, Brian, was, you remember that weekend I went to the wedding? I had to go away. Well, we left the kids here by themselves, like Macaulay Culkin. My sister popped in from time to time to make sure they weren't dead. But the IT department deemed that the bean was a fire hazard, Barry. in our absence. So the great experiment. And then through the bean away, what I suggested was she could have taken the bean out for the duration of that weekend and then put it back in when we returned. But apparently that was ridiculous. So the bean is no more. So we'll have to see what else we can do. Any other feats of endurance with legumes. That's a Saturday night prime time programme, if ever I've heard of one. So yeah, the bean's done. And Baz, you need to tell us something about Spotify Wrapped, although we haven't really decided what, so you can just make it up. Go.
Yeah, we haven't, have we? Yeah, Spotify Wrapped come out today. So anyone listening on Spotify will probably get like an email or a little nudge, or if you go in your app, it'll tell you your Wrapped stats, so you can see what music you've been listening to most, what podcasts you've been listening to most. Riley was the first one to share his Spotify Wrapped. He's, I think he had his number 4 of his podcasts he's listened to. He had the NFL podcast, he had the NBA podcast, and he had MLB. So very SGPN heavy. Done well to get us in at number 4. So we'll take that. But yes, if anybody on Spotify has got their Wrapped, and you've got us in your top 5, send us a screenshot, Twitter, Discord, wherever you want. Send us a screenshot, and we might come up with a little merch prize for one of you who has got us high up the rankings. Malcolm, I've seen the numbers. There's quite a number of people who have got us as their number 1 podcast. Surprisingly more than I thought. So there are people there. If you are one of those with SGPN Premier League at the top of your podcast list, we want to see it, and we'll give you a shout out on you. And as I say, we might come up with a prize for one of you. Come up with some sort of raffle prize. I think the mothership have said they'll put up a merch prize for someone. So yeah, give us a shout. Show us your Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, very good. You're right. Sean and Ryan did say that we give something away, which is fun. We've got a nice new sponsor here, Baz. Bet Rivers is who we are bringing our show via today. Bet Rivers available in over 14 states, plus Ontario in Canada. Best Rivers are some of the best live betting markets in their space. The betting menu is second to none, including tons of props. Depositing and withdrawing is super easy on Bet Rivers. So sign up using our link and get a risk-free bet up to $500. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. If you're a problem gambler, call 1-800-GAMBLER. As it happens, Baz, on Saturday, I've got a job at Newcastle Racecourse, and it turns out I'm in the Bet MGM suite. So it's kind of a bit of a busman's holiday for me. I'm working, so I'm getting paid, but I'm also getting to watch the races, which is one of my favourite things. It's a very big race day in Newcastle. It's the Fighting Fifth Hurdle, which is the first Grade 1 hurdle of the year in the jump season in Britain. And I'll have all the Bet MGM high brass Barry, all the hobnobs. So I'm going to smash into them. So by tea time on Friday, if I haven't got sponsorship for this show and I'm not dripping in Bet MGM merch, I'll be sorely disappointed my own sales skills. So I'll let you know how that goes on Saturday. But I'm also looking forward to the GGs as well. Constitution Hill's running. Constitution Hill is a monster of a horse. One of those horses that you just need to see in the flesh in your lifetime. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing Constitution Hill pop the last and come up the straight at Gosforth Park there. Slick Rick's first in the chat. Rick, good evening. There's a few other people lurking as well. So if you are there, don't be shy. Come on, say hello. So we recorded on Sunday night, Barry. So we've got some football and some picks to put to bed between from the Monday night game, Wolves and Fulham. Fulham won 3-2. I took Wolves. I still maintain I was on the right side of that. The officials completely fucked it up again. Then Tuesday did well. We went really well in the Premier League. I proved Mahatma Gandhi wrong, Barry, by taking both the early games and winning them both. Shakhtar got the job done. Lazio and Celtic survived a late scare. That was 0-0 after 82 minutes. Then Lazio scored twice and Celtic had a penalty overturned in injury time. So for the second time this week, I've had an old firm injury time penalty shenanigans. So that one tonight nearly got out of it. I backed into Milan. I then did see on Monday a lot of Inter fans moaning that the manager was going to make lots of changes. to the side. So, but I was committed by then. Sure enough, Benfica were 3-0 up. And then Inter brought it all the way back to 3-3. Benfica had a man sent off. And I thought I might nick a famous win, but didn't. And then Galatasaray, Manchester United, we called it. There are 3 away games, Barry, in this group that finished 4-3, 4-3 and 3-3. So we were absolutely all over it. Gave out Galatasaray team total. Over 2.5 for both teams to score. You gave out the totals. So, yeah, we've had a decent week, Barry. Profit. I knew a few people got involved last night. How we all picked?
So started well yesterday with Shakhtar was I really fancied. Both said we just felt like the prices were far too generous against an Antwerp side who'd conceded 14 and never looked like picking up anything in that group. Tonight, Galatasaray took the over 3.5, so again another good price, 6-4, I think it was, for over 3.5 goals in that game. Should have got up the ladder there, shouldn't we? All the signs were there. I said on the review of it, goals was the way to go. Both come up with different ways of doing it. But yeah, you could have gone as far as you liked up that ladder. Would have been nice. Very lucky early red card for Braga. Braga against Union Berlin. Braga down to 10 men after 30 minutes. 1-0 down in the first half. Came back to 1-1, but they always felt like you were up against it with a red card. And the Bayern game took both to score and nothing. Didn't see a 0-0 in that one. Though I did say, I feared the Bayern side of it a bit more as to how much they cared, given that they've already wrapped up top spot. Interesting, in the dying minutes of that, Bayern were awarded a penalty for a handball, which was very harsh. Referee went to the screen, looked at it and decided it was too harsh and it shouldn't be a penalty. A little bit different to last night's shenanigans. But yeah, good week of Champions League. Some good games. That Man United game was entertaining.
It was an absolute madness. It could have finished 10-10. Yeah. Every time either side went forward, they looked like scoring. I mean, I watched the first half. I had to take the bend of football. And it was just insane. It was absolutely insane. Man, you never deserved to be 2-0 up, but scored 2 good goals. And I think we have to mention old Andrew Onana. It's an unusual setup that they're employing, putting a hologram in goal. I'm not sure of the long-term benefits of that, Barry, because he's got business cards that just say, if it's on target, it's in. That's what it says for Andrew Onana. He couldn't keep chickens. It's ridiculous what's going on.
I don't know. That second one was well, the first one was bad as well, wasn't it? But the second one, he just throws it in his own net practically. It's getting comical at this stage. I'm sure he is a good keeper, but it's one of those things with keepers. If you get into a little slump like this, things can spiral pretty quickly, can't they, for keepers? Massive thing, confidence-wise and momentum and stuff. But yeah, he's looked an absolute liability from start to finish this season.
And then I think at some point, I couldn't decide, Barry, whether or not we need to mention last night and the VAR Newcastle PSG. But I think probably some of the listeners will want us to, because I listened to a couple of shows and I listened to them specifically when the hosts team gets beat. I really like it when Chelsea get beat.
I've already listened to the Mark Goldbridge show tonight for those 3
goals.
Yeah,
exactly. When Chelsea get beat, I love to listen to Andy Jacobs on TalkSport on a Monday. And there's other shows like that. It's even a bit the same when the Giants or the Eagles get beat. You like to listen to Sean O'Ryan. So we can't just ignore it, because I think people would like to hear. But I don't want to devote too much time to it, Baz, because it's just really boring. Like, we recorded on Sunday night. I'll give it 60 seconds, right? That time says 14:52, Baz. We're going to be off this subject by 15 minutes. We recorded on Sunday night. Since then, we've watched Wolves Fulham. Complete fucking shambles. 10 minutes after the final whistle, the referee's admitted he's got everything wrong. Like 10 minutes later, oh, sorry, by the way, we got everything wrong. No bother, lads, crack on. And last night, we all know what happened. We all know what went wrong. The biggest point I've got with this, Baz, is who wants any of those incidents to be a penalty? Take away Newcastle and PSG. If it's Swindon Town v Accrington Stanley, if it's Botafogo v Fluminense, if it's Pyramids FC against Arab contractors, if it's Binghamtown under 14 girls, who wants what that last night? Do the fans want it to be a penalty? Any of them? Fans of any of those 8 teams I've just mentioned? No. Do the players want it to be a penalty? No. Do the managers? No. Do the media? So How's it happened? Who's been allowed to let that happen, Baz? It's an absolute madness. 59 there, 16 minutes. I'm done, Barry. You can have 30 seconds if you want it.
Yeah, it was just a shambles. The thing that stands out was anybody credible, anybody at all. It was absolutely unanimous, because normally you'll get one pundit or the odd pundit here or there saying, no, it's a definite pen. You get one that stands out. But you listen to Sky, if you listen to Talk Sport, if you listen to BT, everybody was unanimous around it. And that was the thing. And he'd had a cracking game, that referee. He is one of the best in the business. He'd absolutely nailed it up until that point. And even when they showed you the replay and they showed you going over, I felt really confident that this bloke is the one who will say, no, don't be stupid. I couldn't believe it. But he looked at that screen, Malcolm, for about 5 seconds. He watched one run through, one still picture, and that was it. Decision done. There was no running back of anything. It was all far too quick, far too rushed. And you suspect they probably have realised it was an error, because they took the VAR team off tonight's games. The UEFA won't make a statement. I was surprised they've done anything. UEFA, I would fully expect to just brush anything like that under the carpet, unlike Howard Webb, who likes to come out and say sorry and send letters and all of that sort of thing. It was a shambles, but I'll be over it. By next week, we'll forget about it. You look last night, and obviously you understand. Other fans of other teams will laugh their tits off about it.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans are delighted. They think it's karma. Everything that goes wrong against Newcastle this year will be karma for that.
But that's also kind of the problem as well, because it's just partisan. And if that's the case, nothing will get. If you're going to laugh when it happens, you can't. Like Liverpool and Arsenal coming out making their statements, they didn't do it properly. Like I say, they could have come out when Wolves got sawn off. Arteta could have come out and made a statement then, but he didn't. And no one helps themselves.
That was the only other thing I had on it, Malcolm, was what do fans prefer? Do you prefer, as a Liverpool fan or Arsenal fan, do you prefer Klopp or Arteta coming out and going absolutely wild, calling it cheats, it's a disgrace, there's an agenda? Or you've got O'Neill and Eddie Howe, who just stay very reserved. They won't get involved in it. They let other people do the talking. And I don't know what, sometimes you just think, I wish you would just go mad. But at the same time, I think it is sort of, it's classy from the two of them, but at the same time, does it get them anywhere? Or do Liverpool and Arsenal then start getting things like you said, you make a point of it enough, it sticks in a referee's head. I don't know. It's a shame.
O'Neill said that himself, didn't he? He said, like, I've got two options. I can carry on behaving the way I should and the way I ask my players to behave, or I can start making a noise and see if that makes any difference, because behaving yourself is getting you nowhere. So the other thing, IFAB, the IFAB are these weird people who make these new rules. And even they've had a meeting this week and brought out a list as long as your arm of new stupid rules, Baz. So the first one that everyone's been talking about is the sin bins for dissent and stuff. So someone's going to have to go off for 10 minutes. But surely, you get fucking Roy Hodgson, Steve Bruce, I don't know, Sean Dyche would love a sin bin. It's like you go down to 10, and all they're going to do, all right, lads, 10-minute drill. So we sit in and we just play two banks of a 5 and a 4. So the game's going to go to shit. It's not going to make for more exciting football. You're just going to have a 10-minute drill of these dog shit managers just wanting to not attack anymore. So that's a rubbish one. And then, have you seen the new suggestion for goalkeepers time wasting, Barry?
No.
This is great. So, the old 6-second rule? Yeah. 6 seconds. Never been enforced, ever. You've now got 10 seconds, Baz. But if you don't get rid of it after 10 seconds, it's a corner. The fuck's all that about?
That's ridiculous.
That's absolutely the sort of rule Bob would come up with. I said, Bob, make a new rule. You'd say, all right, Dad, 5 minutes later, you might hand me that on a bit of paper. Because they've said it's unacceptable to be time wasting. So you've got to give the other team a chance of a goal, but a free kick is too much of a chance of a goal. So you just want to give them a bit of a sniff of a goal so they can have a corner instead. I mean, absolutely baffling, completely.
Yeah, you're right about the sin bin, though. You think of games where we do have sin bin. Ice hockey is the one that stands out. As soon as you go 4v5, it's backs to the wall. The second you get possession, it's up the other end of the ice, and you just playing for time. You're just surviving for two minutes in the ice hockey. And it would be exactly the same. Teams would go into survival mode for 10 minutes. It would be absolutely ridiculous. Madness. Absolute madness.
So there you go. We've covered all of that. So, nutshell, the
other
picks
things,
were
quick
okay.
things. Before we get on to the
on,
Premier League, a couple of quick things. We'll have to rush through these picks tonight because it's going to be a long one. Sunday show, we did have one complaint about someone saying it was a tough listening to us moaning for 30 minutes about everybody but Newcastle. I'm pretty positive I had something good to say about someone. I can't remember who, but I must have done. And we definitely had a moan about Newcastle because I moaned about Pope not trying to save Sterling's effort. But yeah, we had a lot of time on our hands on Sunday to have a moan, and sometimes we are miserable bastards. The other thing was the shinner, Malcolm. We had a couple of queries about the shinner, didn't we? Frank shouted up on the YouTube feed. He commented to say we were having a laugh with the shinner comment, and the Backus family wanted to know why a shinner made a difference to that goal. And we quite clearly acknowledged we were taking the piss with the shinner thing. That was an outstanding goal. It is goal of the season so far. So definitely tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of a piss take, but there was nothing wrong with that Garnacho goal whatsoever. So I think it's important to clear that up. It was an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I think if you're going to take exception to me and Baz moaning about other teams, this might not be the show for you because it is about 78% of the content. There's about 78%, 12% slagging off Man United, 10% making bad picks. That's pretty much that's what you're getting if you listen to this. So take it or leave it. But we're about to fire up a full weekend of Premier League picks here. Underdog Fantasy, great way of playing alongside your favourite fantasy players all season. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Simply pick higher or lower on your favourite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Underdog picking for the weekend. We're going with Devon A-Chan. We need him to be fit. We need him to go off. So we'll be taking the higher on A-Chan. Russian props at the weekend. Watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code SGPN. Underdog, double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay in the Hall of Fame Bets Parlay Optimizer tool. Get hit rates broken down by leg, expected probability, sort all players by hit rate, all that sort of stuff. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Right, we fire into Saturday. It's not Saturday lunchtime. There's no lunchtime game, Baz. What's the crack with that? I'm at work anyway. It doesn't really bother me. We go with 3 o'clock on Saturday, which is Arsenal taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal are Burlington Birdie 100-30 on, minus 333. The draw's at 5-1. A little bit of line movement, and Wolves have drifted from 8.5 out to 9-1. I'm guessing that's on the back of Arsenal humping Lons tonight, 6-0. The bookies have nipped Arsenal in a little bit. I found this really hard for a couple of reasons, Barry. Firstly, now I made these notes a few hours ago. I'm not hugely impressed by Arsenal so far this season. My example being that 1-0 win at Brentford last week. You know, it's pretty functional. They got away with it a little bit. Ramsdale was dodgy. They won it in the last minute. Now, they have beaten Lons tonight, but that's Arsenal's MO. We love that, Baz. At home against a shit team. We did Sheffield United a few weeks ago, 5-0. That's what Arsenal do. And Lons are terrible. The bottom of a Farmers League. And the other reason I found this tricky was I'm quite sweet on Wolves, and that still hasn't changed. And I do need to find a way of monetising Wolves at the moment because, like I say, they've been sawn off more than once. Arsenal are top. They've won 9-13. Defending really well, Barry. Clean sheets in 46% of their matches this season. They've only conceded 10 in 13 games. They do have 2 home draws in there. They were both 2-2 draws against Fulham and Tottenham. So a couple of chinks in the armour there. Wolves only got 4 wins from their 13 games, but it could be 7 or 8, really, given average look. And I still want Wolves on my side. Obviously, this isn't necessarily the day for it. They did beat Manchester City. So I wouldn't put you off Wolves at all, Baz, at 8-1. But this screams goals. Arsenal have scored 2.25 goals on average over their last 8 games. You can stick 6 more onto that tonight as well. Wolves have gone 10 in a row with both teams to score. 8 of those have gone over 2.5, and 4 of those have gone over 3.5. So over 3.5 goals is 7-4 plus 175. But I like both teams to score. It's a better price than the over 2.5. It's odds against both teams to score, Barry. It's plus 105, 21-20. So yeah, both teams to score will be my official play. But I will be having a little snifter on Wolves at 8-1.
Yeah, well, I'll keep mine short because I've got all the same notes and exactly the same pick, Malcolm. As you say, Arsenal defensively have been solid, especially in the last 4 on the bounce at home. They've won them all, conceding just 1 game. But as you know, Wolves harshly treated recently. They are playing well, and they have got that big streak where they are scoring in every game, and both teams to score is landing often enough. So, yeah, no need for me to go any further. Same as you, I handicapped this one before tonight's game. Wasn't massive on Arsenal. I was tempted with Wolves on a handicap plus 1.5. That's a good result, a good positive win for Arsenal tonight. So steered away from that. Both teams to score, same pick. Arsenal v Wolves, both to score 21-20.
Okay, carry on with the 3 o'clocks. The second of 3 p.m. kickoffs, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Brentford take on Luton. Brentford 9-20, minus 222. The draw is 7-2. And Luton are 11-2 plus 550, Barry.
Yeah, so this was the toughest one on the list for me. I actually skipped it and came back to it about 20 minutes ago to come up with a pick. Well, not 20 minutes ago, about 20 minutes before this show started. And I just think it's because the books just seem to have the prices bang on for me. I'm sort of looking at it. I fancy Brentford will win at home. But 49 is probably about the right price. There's not any value there. And then that means the handicaps aren't attractive or the team goals and stuff. I look for trends in overs, both to score, clean sheets, cards, corners, and just nothing jumping out at all. Obviously, we've got to make a pick on every game. If I wasn't doing a podcast where I made a pick on every game, I would steer clear of this one. But I've ended up with both teams to score, Malcolm. I think Brentford will win this. But Luton have only failed to score in 2 of their last 9. They are doing all right in front of goal. Spurs and Man U kept them out, but everybody else they've managed to put a goal up against recently. So yeah, I'm going to take Luton to get a goal. Brentford, Luton, both teams to score at 10-11, minus 110.
Well, Barry, we're 2 for 2 on the team rides because both teams to score is my pick as well. And Brentford are just the most mid-table team kicking around. 1-4 drawn, 4 lost, 5. Lost the last 2 without scoring, although they were against Arsenal and Liverpool. They've only won 2 of their 7 home games, as much as we think they were quite a good home side. They've drawn at home to Palace and Bournemouth, if you want kind of comp games. They lost to Everton at home. And they have conceded in 86% of their home games, conceding 1.57 goals per game. Luton have only failed to score 4 times this season. So, yeah, all of those things point me towards the both teams to score, Barry. 9-10, minus 111. Next up, what a belter. This one is 3 o'clock kickoff. Burnley against Sheffield United. Burnley are 11-13, minus 117. The draw is 13-5, plus 260. Sheffield United 16-5, plus 320. This is the proverbial 2 bald men arguing over a comb game. Burnley have got 1 win so far this season, and you want me to take odds on that they're going to get another one here, minus money? Absolutely fucking no chance. Sheffield United, no, thank you very much. How many clean sheets have Burnley had this season, Barry?
I've got it in my notes here. None.
How many clean sheets have Sheffield United had this season, Barry?
None.
Oh, hey. So, Barry, I mean, it's not complicated, is it? It's another both teams to score. Neither team's kept a clean sheet. I mean, I can't do everything for you. 4-5, minus 125. Next.
I mean, I can get you a better price than that, Malcolm. But yeah, this fixture
you claiming a bigger price.
Wouldn't have been out of place on last week's slate, was it? Where they were all evenly matched games. This is another one. Two teams with just one win each all season. My initial thought was if I had to go money line, I'd favour Burnley as the home side. But then you look at the price, and as you say, odds on for Burnley. Absolutely no way for me. So I've done exactly the same. Kept it really simple. For the I wrote down, neither team have a clean sheet to their name this season. So both teams to score at close to evens. Just looks great value. You'll get a run for your money. I've got it at 10 to 11, Malcolm, minus 110. So yeah, pick for me, same as you. Burnley v Sheffield United, both teams to score at 10 to 11.
We don't have to use Bet365 this week because they're not sponsoring us, Brad, so we can shop around. You're right. If I was going to choose a side, I think Burnley played quite well last week. They didn't get the result, but they played well, which, depending on if you're a Burnley fan, you might take that as a positive. Anyone else from the outside looking in, that could also be a negative that you've played well and still not won. So yeah, whichever way around you want to take that. Okay, tea time, 5:30 kickoff, 12:30 Eastern time. Nottingham Forest take on Everton. Forest are the outsiders here, 7-4, plus 175. The door's 9-4, plus 225. Everton favourites, 8-5, plus 160, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, slight difference in price. It's pretty much a coin toss, isn't it? With the books, I can see why Everton have gone favourites, though. Forest just one win in the last 9 games now. One, he's injured again. We talked about him coming back might be a bit of a boost for them. It seems he's going to be out for a while now. Even the home form's deserting them of late. So last season, and we talked about how they were a different side at home. The Villa game was definitely an anomaly in the form line. That's their only win in 6 home games now. Everton, on the other hand, just 1 defeat in the last 5 in all competitions, or just 1 defeat in 4 in the league. The 3-0 defeat to Man United last week, I think, probably flattered Man United a bit. Everton created enough to have scored in that one. But you do have to take your chances, and they didn't. They're quite high on the XG for the year. I think the biggest underperformers against the XG, I think, Everton. I'm sure they have an XG of around 21, and they've maybe scored 12. The difference is about 9. You really, really got to be taking more of those chances if they're to get themselves out of the shit. I think Everton are a better side in recent weeks. So as I say, not hugely surprised to see they've gone slight evens. I like Everton here. I like them to win. It's not a bad price for me, but I think the safer way to play it is to take Everton goals, which is a bit strange. They are one of the lowest scoring in the league, but they did fail to score in their first 3 games, so that's skewed that a little bit. They have been better in front of goals more recently. They've scored 3 or more 3 times in the last 8 games. Palace, Bournemouth, and Brentford all conceded 3 to Everton. And now Forest have conceded 3 in 3 of their last 4 games. They've only got 1 clean sheet in their last 9 games, Forest. So this form for Everton have been able to score against teams lower down the league. And Forest are conceding regularly at the moment. So I like Everton goals. I could see this being something like a 2-2 or a 3-2 either way. Very much like the Brighton Forest game last week. Forest v Everton. Everton team total over 1.5 goals is 6-4 plus 150. So that's a pick for me. But with Forest shipping goals plenty at the moment, I'll take a step up the ladder as well with Everton to score 3 or more at 5-1. And if you want to go wild, then 4 or more is available at 16-1. 3 or more, 5-1. As I say, Forest are shipping goals. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, the main pick is Everton team total over 1.5. But I'll be climbing the ladder with 3 or more at 5-1 and 4 or more at 16-1.
It's a bit of a funny one, this, Baz, because we've kind of used similar stats, but I've dressed them up in a different way. You're saying Forest have only won 1 of 6 at home. My stats are Forest have only lost 1 of 6 at home. It's just weird. You can fit anything to your narrative if you want it to be. They've only got 3 wins, but they have been competitive at home. They had that 2 win against Villa. And one of my key stats here, Barry, is that they have scored twice in the last 3 home games. So that's Aston Villa, Luton, and Brighton. And as you just said, Everton can't score. They've got DCL. They're heavily relying on him. They don't have a goal scorer in midfield. McNeil get a couple. Or Onana, Doucouré, who else? Everton form it's all over the place, but they've got more good results than bad. They played well against Man United. But I just had to pick Forest here on the prices, Baz. Forest are a bigger price than Everton. I don't think that can be correct. I don't think Everton are a better team than Forest, and Forest with a little bit of home advantage. If Forest can score 2 goals here, which they have done in the last 3 home games, they'll win. I don't think Everton can do what you've said. So a proper crossfire here. I'll take Forest 7-4 plus.
Just pointed you to 3 games where they've done exactly that, where they have scored 2 or more. I've just pointed you out the games. So you're saying
not against Everton, no.
Against Forest.
What are you saying?
I'm saying you're saying Everton can't possibly score 2 goals. I've just pointed out 3 games where they've scored 3 goals in the last 8. They've done it 3 times. They've put 3 past Bournemouth, Brentford, Palace.
Oh, there you go. Then they've overperformed.
Palace,
they're going to regress.
They're all teams in the same neck of the woods as Forest, aren't they, in terms of league position? So yeah, not having that, Malcolm.
Regression coming. You've just talked it out. Pat has joined us. Enjoyed watching the Champions League games, and Pat is complaining that he lost his bet by backing Sunderland. Well, Pat,
he's come to the wrong place.
That's all I can say. You shouldn't be allowed money if you're going to back Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland lost at home to relegation zone Huddersfield Town tonight, the silly bastards. So that made me laugh. Yeah, fully deserved. Pat's got no sympathy for you. We move on to 8 o'clock kickoff Saturday night, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. A game I will be at. So I get to go to the races in the afternoon and pretend to work. And then from there, I get to go directly to watch Newcastle take on Manchester United. So good day here for me. Newcastle 19-20, minus 105. The draw's 11-5, plus 275, 11-4, sorry. And Man United are 13-5, plus 260. Newcastle have had a decent week in principle anyway. Beat Chelsea 4-1. And then a different type of performance in Paris in that 1-1 draw in the week. The only drawback with Newcastle really here is they've only got 12 fit players still. But they played Tuesday night, so they could be well rested. They get a couple of days off for the weekend. And I don't know how, it's not like they ran around loads last night, especially in the last half an hour. They all just stood in the box. That wouldn't take it out of you, would it? I mean, I'm obviously not a sort of gym
sports scientist.
Well, funnily enough, I have a degree in sports science, Barry, so I should probably know a little bit more. That last sentence has just told you how much time I spent in the pub compared to how much time I spent in lectures. So Manchester United, another madness tonight. They've got some good players. That's what saves Man United, is that they've got some good players. Fernandes, the goal against Fulham. Garnacho, again tonight, scored a good goal. But they're still an incoherent mess. They haven't drawn a game this season, right? 8 Man United wins, Barry, in the league this season. What they got in common?
What's that?
Man United have won 8 games in the league. What have they got in common, those 8 wins? All teams in the bottom half, Barry. All teams currently in the bottom half of the league. They played 4 teams in the top half of the league. Barry, what happened in those 4 games?
They got beat.
They got beat. They lost all of them, is the exact answer. The only one where it's not that way around is Crystal Palace, who were in the bottom half, who did beat them. So they haven't beaten a team. They've come up against teams of a higher quality in Europe. They can't beat them bad. Newcastle mauled them up here last year in a very similar type of game to me. It was a TV game. It was late. It was dark. Everyone's got a bit chance to get extra drunk. Newcastle, the supporters and the team are going to be wounded by what's happened on Tuesday night. And I don't think Man United is set up very well to play against Newcastle. They're a little bit slow, a little bit ponderous. If I see Amrabat wandering around in midfield on Saturday night, he won't know what day it is. You have to back Newcastle, Baz, 19-20. I'm never confident about Newcastle. We know this. Never, ever, ever confident. Apart from, I think we're better than Manchester United. At home, we've seen it before. I think I'll take Newcastle. The other angle I like on this, Baz, is cards. I like the card angle. It's going to be a big atmosphere. Like I say, the fans and players are up for it. And I like it for two reasons. Man United won't be suited to our press. Players like Maguire, even Onana, Dalot, they're going to be vulnerable. Anthony Gordon, we've seen taking people on and getting them into trouble. We played Liverpool. So comparison games, Barry. Liverpool, Van Dijk got sent off. Chelsea, Reece James got sent off. Arsenal, Havertz should have been sent off. And so should Bruno Guimaraes. Because the second part is, I'll add Newcastle into this as well. Because Joe Linton, Bruno, Fabian Schär, they're all walking red cards like. So this could absolutely kick off. So the bookies are kind of onto it. Over 5.5 red cards is 5 to 6 minus 120. But a red card in the game is 4 to 1, Barry. Someone like Amrabat or Dalot is getting marched here. 4 to 1 for a red card. But other than that, Newcastle win.
Yeah, so I started thinking about this one this morning, and my main concern was what Newcastle have left in the tank after last night. It's, physically and mentally draining a game like that, and definitely the way it ended. We mentioned last week, there's no doubt the starting 11 is strong enough for these games, but we've literally got nothing behind them, and it showed last night with no substitutions made all game. There's just no options. He could have brought on Lewis Hall. Beyond that, there's nobody who, you wouldn't have wanted Dummett coming on in that situation. And possibly not Hall either, to be honest. But at the same time, Man United have had a tough game tonight as well. So we shouldn't really have any excuses on that front. Although Man United have definitely got a few more options in terms of sort of bringing in some fresh legs, which we can't do. But despite any concerns over Newcastle's fitness, you've just got to stick with them. I took them against Chelsea last week. No way I could fade them here. Let's see. You've got to give Man United some credit for the winning run they're on in the league, but they have played the most weakest, the weakened teams. You can only beat what's in front of you. But I've wrote down exactly the same as you. The concern for Man United is every time they come up against a decent side, they struggle on every single occasion. They're lacking goals in the league. Find no problem scoring them in the Champions League. They just ship twice as many at the other end. But in the league, they're struggling to score. It's bizarre though, isn't it? They're not scoring freely in the league. 3-0 against Everton was a standout one, really. It's the first time they've won by more than a single goal. Yet in the Champions League, they're scoring threes every week and still not getting the result. For me, it was a pick between Newcastle to win or the Newcastle team total. I think Newcastle will win. But I think there'll be goals at both ends. I don't see us nicking it 1-0 like the Arsenal game. So it's a similar price. Newcastle team total for me. I don't mind I was very close to taking them just to win. But Newcastle team total over 1.5 at 5 to 6 is where I've gone. So Newcastle to score 2 or more v Man United at 5 to 6 minus 120.
Okay. So we move across to Sunday. Now there's 5 games on Sunday. This is one of those weekends after we got Europa League on Thursday night. So all the Thursday night teams, who's at Brighton, Liverpool, West Ham, Aston Villa, all pushed back to Sunday. 4 games at 2 o'clock here, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time. Bournemouth take on Aston Villa. Bournemouth 12-5 plus 240. The draw is 3 to 1. Aston Villa 19-20 minus 105. This was one I found pretty straightforward. I start with an idea in my head of what I think will happen. I look at the prices, and sometimes it just looks obvious. And here, I just find it really difficult to oppose Villa in their current form. Just 1 defeat in 10 in all competitions now. As I say, that 2-0 was a bit unexpected against Forest, but it's still their only defeat in the last 10. And they've won 8 of those 10 as well. So it's not like they're throwing loads of draws in as well. Bournemouth have improved. Won 3 of the last 4 games. 2 of them were against Burnley and Sheffield United, who we've talked about as being 2 of the worst teams in the league currently.
Both important results for Bournemouth, massive in terms of giving them some breathing room at the bottom. And the win against Newcastle was definitely a solid result. I just find Villa are in the zone at the moment. There's only Man City have scored more goals this season than Villa. Villa and Newcastle both scored 31 goals already. And Bournemouth conceded a rate of more than 2 a game anyway. So Villa money line for me. It's close enough to evens. Villa money line at 19 to 20. Looks just fine to me. So that's the pick for me. Villa to beat Bournemouth at 19 to 20.
Yeah, team ride bars. I looked at this for about 10 seconds. Took Villa last week at Spurs. And at 19 to 20, there's no reason to get away from it. Bournemouth have done okay. They took advantage of a couple of nice positions, which is fair enough. They look a little bit better and they're playing well. But Villa are just about a big enough price here. Just short of even monies here. So I'll take Villa at the same price as you, Barry. Darren Penaluna, the angel of Wroclaw, as he's known. Without Darren, several members of the Polish drinking party would still be there, frankly. Darren did a quite remarkable job of getting everyone back to the hotel. And Riley's right. What's it? Is that a 20 to 1 or a 200 to 1 winner, Riley? You've sent us across. We'll have to check that out in a bit. Next up, Chelsea take on Brighton. Chelsea 7 to 10, minus 142. The draw is Burlington Birdie, 100 to 30 plus 333. Brighton 16 to 5 plus 320. Chelsea all over the place. We all thought they were back a little bit. They got that weird win at Tottenham. It's hard to analyse any of their games because they had that stupid win at Tottenham. They then had the 4-4 draw with City. Was it good? Was it bad? Who knows? They then came up here last week and had their arse handed to them. But it's home. They've only won 1 of 7 home games. Spurs. I didn't know that. That's a bit of a mad one. Goals, I think, has to be the key here. They've scored 19 in the last 6 and conceded 14, which is insane. And then the opposition is, drum roll, Brighton. Hooray. Both teams to score, maintains 100% record for Brighton. Last week finished 3-2 at Forest, so nothing's putting you off there. Both teams to score over 2.5 or very short. There's tons of different ways to get involved in this. I was looking at goal markets, totals, handicaps. You're just trying to find the best way to factor some goals in. The best price for me, Barry, to do that is a Brighton team total over 1.5. That's 7 to 4 plus 175. I mean, Chelsea have conceded 4 in the last 2 games, and Reece James is missing as well. Brighton score goals for fun. Brighton team total over 1.5, 7 to 4.
Yeah, I remember on similar lines. It is tricky when you're looking at the money line, yeah, because I was pretty underwhelmed with Chelsea last week after the highs of their performance against City. They didn't show much of that.
They might win, Baz, but you can't back them at minus 142. You just fucking can't.
No, absolutely not. Brighton have huffed and puffed a bit lately, but obviously got back to winning ways with a 3-2 over Forest. But as you say, goals, last 3 Chelsea games, 18 goals in total across the last 3 games. 4-1, 4-1, 4-4. Now the Brighton trends for both teams to score had continued. They had dropped off with the over 2.5s and 3.5s for a while, but they come back last week with that 3-2 win against Forest. And I think it's just a game and 2 sides where it's got all the hallmarks of a potential goal fest. Brighton still don't have a clean sheet. Chelsea have conceded 9 in their last 3 games, as you said. So I'll take the over 3.5, Malcolm. Different way of playing it. But Chelsea-Brighton, team total, match total, over 3.5 goals at 11 to 8, plus 137 for me.
It's a nice price, that, Baz. I like it. Still 2 o'clock kickoffs here. Liverpool take on Fulham. Liverpool 1 to 4, minus 400. The draw's 11 to 2, plus 550. Fulham all the way out at 8 to 1, Barry.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool at Anfield are just so consistent at the moment. Still won every home game. They've still scored at least 2 in every game at Anfield. And they've won every one of them by 2 or more goals as well. Fulham, against when they've played decent sides recently, they've been losing by 2 or more each time. So Spurs beat them by a couple of goals. Villa beat them by a couple. Chelsea beat them by at least a couple. So I do like Liverpool on the handicap, but I found the price a little bit prohibitive. It's 4-6, minus 150 for Liverpool to win by 2 or more. I'd be fine with that in me Akas or anything like that. But a little bit short as a pick. But another trend that fits the same narrative here is Liverpool scoring 3 or more. They've done it in 7 of 9 home games so far this season. And I can get them to repeat that here at 5-6, minus 120. Which is, I'm happier with that price than the Liverpool handicap at minus 150. Fulham haven't had a clean sheet in 9 games now. So I'm happy with Liverpool running out comfortable winners here and scoring at least 3 in the process. So Liverpool v Fulham. Liverpool team total over 2.5 at 5-6.
Yeah, obviously I'm doing the same thing. This is the only really short price favourite on the card here. At 1-4, so you're dancing around trying to factor something in. That Liverpool home form 1-6 out of 6. Only West Ham have scored at Anfield this season. Now I watched Fulham on Monday. They did score 3, but it was 2 penalties and Alex Iwobi, who normally couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. I just don't like Fulham. They're still rolling out Jimenez up front, who never looks like scoring. Or that other big lump, Carlos Vinicius. Liverpool win to 0. It's just a bit of a system play, and it's a good price, Baz. I mean, let's see, we probably looked at the same 7 or 8 markets here, trying to how best to factor Liverpool in. You found a nice 5-6 play. I found a 6-5 one here. So plus 120, Liverpool to win to 0. Is that one. Next is the penultimate game on the card. Still 2 o'clock. West Ham take on Crystal Palace. West Ham even money. The draw is 5-2, plus 250, and Palace are 14-5, plus 280. West Ham sitting in 9th. They've had back-to-back wins without playing very well. They touched off Forest 3-2 at home, and then 2 late goals at Burnley last week. And the form really is quite unpredictable, West Ham, and I know the fans have been twisting a little bit, but I think that's just what West Ham fans do. Palace, however, are struggling and their fans aren't happy with what's going on there. They've had 1 win in the last 5, which was against Burnley. They lost at Luton. They've had a home defeat against Everton. 2 0-0 draws with Forest and Fulham. They're just not scoring any goals. And now Eze's missing again. West Ham have scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, Barry. If West Ham score 2 goals again, that's enough to win this because Palace can't score 2 goals. Even money, I think West Ham will score twice. And they'll just win the game. West Ham even money, please.
We're in sync tonight, Malcolm.
Mate.
Yeah, you've covered most of it really. West Ham, they bounced back a little bit, having had a little bit of a slump. But it is mainly about the fact Palace just aren't very good. I took them over Luton last week and was let down by them. And they've just 1 win in 6 now and 4 defeats in the last 6. Burnley, the only victory as well. We thought a couple of weeks ago, Elise and Eze returning might give them a bit of a boost. It didn't. And as you say, Eze is now going to be missing again. It just looks easy enough for me. I thought about just taking West Ham on the money line. The only doubt for me there was, although the form line looks good recently, those last 2 wins, Burnley and Forest, both came very, very late on. So they aren't winning games easily necessarily. But I agree with you. They can score 2 or more goals here. So exactly the same pick. West Ham v Palace. West Ham team total over 1.5 at evens is where I've gone. Malcolm's just disconnected, so I'll move us on to Man City v Spurs. Malcolm is our next game. You'll have the prices lined up there.
Oh, I've got them here, Baz. Man City 1-3, minus 333. The draw's 5-1. Tottenham are 17-2, plus 750. Close us out with a winner, Baz.
Yeah, so this game could be absolutely anything. Spurs now on a 3-game losing streak, conceded 8 in those 3 games. And we feared for Spurs a little bit once they lost Van de Ven to injury and Romero for a 3-game ban. We thought there'd be some regression, and that's proved to be the case. And now they're coming to the Etihad, where City have just dropped points for the first time in about 12 months with a 1-1 against Liverpool. Neither team are keeping many clean sheets. We know the Spurs defence is patched up now. City will be disappointed with 2 points from the Chelsea-Liverpool games. They've created enough in each of those games to have taken more. I think they'll do enough here. It's clear, isn't it? Postecoglou isn't going to change his style, despite the change in personnel. And I think that's a bit of a problem. I mean, they didn't start a recognised centre-half last week, did they? They have 4 full-backs in defence, with Davies and Emerson Royal playing centre-backs. I don't know if you're going to get away with that. Well, they didn't get away with it in the last few games, and I'm not sure they'll get away with it here either. The books clearly think this is City's game to lose. The handicap's too short. If you're taking City to win by 2 or more, City goals, you need to push to sort of 3 to get close to evens. And I think if you're doing that here, you might as well just go for the match total over 3.5. It's a slightly bigger price, because I don't expect City to keep a clean sheet. We've seen Chelsea put 4 past them. Leipzig put 2 past them tonight. But City still managed to keep up with those 2 sides. So Spurs, I think, will score. Spurs games hitting both teams to score in overs in all of the last 3. So there's plenty of form on both sides to suggest goals here. I'm just going to go with the over 3.5 goals, Malcolm, at 5 to 6, minus 120.
Yeah, we are in sync, Baz. I've got the same pick, but I've judged it up a bit, Baz, because I'm a bit better than you. For all the same reasons, and a big part of that is, as you said, Postecoglou's got no intention of changing his system, which is either admirable or stupid. I can't decide which one it is. But with the over 3.5 goals, Barry, 9 to 10, City are going to win, aren't they? Surely, City.
I think so. Yeah. I'm thinking 3-1, 4-1,
like 3-1. I mean, 3-1's a reasonable. City could score millions here. I mean, they scored 13 and 3 before the Liverpool game. They put 3 past Leipzig since. Bentancur is another injury for Tottenham. I don't know which difference he would make, but that over 3.5 goals, Barry, your pick. But I'm tagging City to win on, and that moves the price to 13 to 10 plus 130. So just gets it into plus money, because I can't see another outcome. I think if you lose one, you lose the other one, so you might as well boost the price up. So yeah, that'll be my pick. I'll write yours down. I've got those, Baz, and that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the 10 games in the hutch. Fancy stuff, Barry?
Yeah, Malcolm's gone again, but yes, I have got some fancy stuff as usual. I'll kick off, Malcolm, with my goal scorer. I like goals in the Forest Everton game. Unlike you, I think Everton will get goals, so I've got a slight lean to Everton in that one. I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 12 to 5 anytime. Just looks a good price, plus 240. So I'm going with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 12 to 5 to score anytime, and 6 to 1 for first scorer in the Forest v Everton game. Underdog. I got to the end and thought, I've not noticed a single underdog tonight where I've thought, really fancy that. Nothing jumped off the page in terms of underdogs at all. So I'm going to take a chance on Brighton to beat Chelsea, 16 to 5. I just think it's a closer match than the books have got it. Brighton haven't won many games lately, so it's a doubt. But as I say, nothing really stood out. But the underdog pick for me this week is Brighton to beat Chelsea, 16 to 5. And I'll finish off with my treble, Malcolm. I've moved away from the team totals. I'm sick of getting let down by 1 goal every week at the moment. I've gone for match totals this week. And I think there's a bit of a theme this week in terms of all of our picks. We've gone for lots of both teams to score and team totals and goals. So we're both thinking there's lots of goals around these games. So I went for a treble. Forest v Everton, Bournemouth v Villa, and Chelsea v Brighton. All to go over 2.5 goals. Comes in around just short of 3 to 1, plus 370.
I mean, we did point out past last week the system plays we talked about going through the whole card, and both teams to score hit 7 to 9. The over 2.5 hit 7 to 9. Oh, well, and then that was before Fulham Wolves. So 8 of 10, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals hit 8 of 10. And I think we've tried to ride that trend so far tonight. I've got two dogs, Baz. The first one was Nottingham Forest. I can't believe Nottingham Forest is home to Everton. I cannot believe Everton are a shorter price. That's insane.
It's not
So
underdog,
Forest at
is it?
7-4.
It's basically a pick 'em.
Sorry?
They're not an underdog, though, are they? Let's be honest. They're both 7-4. They're the same price.
They're not, Baz. I'm looking at 2.75 and 2.6. Which one's bigger, Baz?
It's just a pick 'em, that, Malcolm.
No, it's not, though, is it? Because if it was a pick 'em, the numbers would be the same, but the numbers are different, Barry. Do you understand?
Not enough.
If I put a tenner on each, Baz, who would I get more back on?
By the weekend, Everton will go off.
That's not the fucking point you're talking about. Fucking Mystic Meg, you're looking into the future. Yeah, crystal ball away, you fucking idiot. What's going on? So, yeah, shut up. Forest, and we're having a bit of Wolves as well, Barry. 17-2, or 8-1, sorry. I fancy Wolves. Arsenal are getting one soon. They're horrible. Anytime goal scorer is my mate. Liverpool are going to score tons, aren't they? Therefore, Darwizzy's going to get on the score sheet. You might score loads, Baz, actually. 4-1, first and last. 11-10, anytime goal scorer. Netbuster, Darwin Núñez. And for a treble, Barry, I never win. I'm wasting everyone's time. We know this. 3 teams, all round about even money, who are considerably better than their opposition. So I'm going to take a treble on Newcastle, Aston Villa, and West Ham. That price is round about 13-2. It's plus 660 if you're over the pond. Newcastle, Villa, West Ham is my waste of time parlay. And I think that's it, Barry. Anything else you want to tell us about?
No, I'm off to finish cooking dinner for tomorrow. I've got to go finish the kids' lunch off, haven't I?
You've got to go and sort that out, Baz, haven't you? I had a free pasty and a free sandwich on my Greg's app today. I was living the dream. I got a chicken tikka masala baguette and a cheese and onion pasty. So I'm
trying to be a bit healthier in the run up to Christmas. I'm keeping off the drink. No drinking at home until Christmas. And I'm trying to cook a bit more healthier. So I've had a chili con carne tonight, Malcolm. And I've got a big pan of it. So I'll be taking chili con carne and rice to work tomorrow for my lunch as well.
Actually, I know it's time to go, but I got one other thing to tell you. The IT department sticks her laptop under my face the other day and says, have a look at this. Is this a scam? I had a look. It's an invitation from Newcastle United for her and her mate to go to the Rooftops Terrace on Saturday for the Man United game. Now, the Rooftops Terrace, for this game particularly, it's about £750 plus VAT per person to go for your ticket. For the match, you go up in the lift, Rooftops, as you suggest, it's right at the very top of the stadium. There's private chefs in there, much booze as you can drink. And it's not a scam at all, Barry. Her and her mate organised their works Christmas party last year at St James's. So they must still have them on the mailing list. So they've just invited her and her crony. So then I was expecting her to say, oh, well, who do you want to take? Like, you know, I might invite Barry. I'll invite Big Dom. I might take my dad, something like that. She says, what do you mean, me and Christina going? Like, sorry? So her and her stupid mate are going to the game. They've no interest in it, either of them. And they're both going to the game on Saturday to fill their boots on the £800 tickets, probably have one cocktail each. I mean, what do you think of that, Baz?
That's a shambles. I can't get a ticket for Saturday either. I could have been up there and living the life of Riley.
I'll pass that on, Barry.
Yeah.
Thoroughly selfish. So there you go. Right. Thank you very much, Baz. Don't forget to like, rate, review. Send your Spotify Wrapped in if our name's on it. Someone's going to win a tit for tat or something. And I think that's about it. We'll be back on probably Sunday night, Baz, because there's a full programme of Premier League games on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So no time to rest. We'll pile up some winners this weekend and then we'll fire some bullets next midweek is exactly what we'll do. Thanks everyone who joined us. We very much appreciate it. Be a friend, tell a friend, pick some winners. And we will see you down the road. Cheers.